Hello everyone. Today, I'll take you on a quick journey through the history of the United States, a story of struggle, change, and progress that has shaped not only a nation, but also the modern world. Early foundations. Long before Europeans arrived, this land was home to diverse Native American nations. They lived in communities ranging from the Iroquois in the northeast to the Navajo in the southwest, each with their own traditions, governance, and connections to the land. In the early 1600s, Europeans began colonizing the East Coast. Jamestown, founded in 1607, became the first permanent English settlement. Over the next century, more colonies grew, bringing not only settlers seeking opportunity and religious freedom, but also enslaved Africans, whose forced labor would become a painful cornerstone of America's development. Independence and revolution. By the mid-17th century, the 13 colonies had thriving economies but felt increasingly oppressed by British taxes and restrictions. No taxation without representation became a rallying cry. In 1776, the colonies declared independence and the American Revolution began. After years of fighting, the Treaty of Paris in 1783 recognized the United States as an independent nation. Soon after, leaders crafted the U.S. Constitution, creating a framework for democracy and checks on power that still guides the country today. Expansion and division. The 1800s were a time of rapid growth. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the nation, and settlers pushed westward, driven by the idea of manifest destiny. But expansion brought conflicts, with native peoples who were forced off their lands and between states over the issue of slavery. By the mid-1800s, the debate over slavery reached a breaking point. The southern states, dependent on enslaved labor, seceded from the Union after Abraham Lincoln was elected president. This sparked the Civil War, the deadliest conflict in U.S. history. The Union's victory in 1865 ended slavery, but the promises of freedom were uneven. The Reconstruction period attempted to give African Americans rights, but discrimination and segregation quickly followed. Industrial growth and immigration. In the late 19th century, America transformed into an industrial powerhouse. Railroads, factories, and cities expanded rapidly. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe and Asia, seeking better lives, while workers fought for fair wages and safer conditions. At the same time, Native Americans were pushed onto reservations as the frontier closed. Despite the nation's growth, these injustices left lasting scars. The world wars and global power. In the early 20th century, the U.S. entered World War I, helping to tip the balance toward Allied victory. Afterward, the 1920s brought prosperity, jazz, and cultural change, but also deep inequalities. Then came the Great Depression of the 1930s, when millions lost jobs and homes. President Franklin Roosevelt responded with the New Deal, programs designed to revive the economy and support struggling families. During World War II, the U.S. again played a decisive role. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, America mobilized its industry and soldiers. By 1945, the Allied victory marked the United States as a global superpower, but the use of atomic bombs also signaled the beginning of a dangerous new era. The Cold War and civil rights. The second half of the 20th century was defined by the Cold War, a tense rivalry with the Soviet Union. From the arms race to the space race, the two powers competed for influence around the world. At home, Americans pushed for social change. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s challenged segregation and racial injustice. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. inspired millions to demand equality, resulting in landmark laws that reshaped the nation. Meanwhile, the women's rights movement, Native American activism, and LGBTQ+ rights movements also gained strength, broadening the definition of freedom. Recent history. In the decades that followed, the US faced triumphs and challenges. The end of the Cold War left America as the world's dominant power. Yet conflicts in the Middle East, debates over globalization, economic recessions, and the attacks of September 11, 2001, tested the nation's resilience. Today, the United States continues to grapple with questions of identity, equality, and its role in the world. Its history is not a simple story of progress, but one of struggle, conflict, and reinvention, always moving toward that promise stated in the Constitution: a more perfect union.